What was you and Pac's relationship prior to his passing?
I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Snoop Dogg just said it. He's straight up. He said Tupac didn't just change his life, he messed it up. Yeah, that's right. The dog father himself finally opened up about the side of Tupac nobody ever talks about. The part where things went left. The part where loyalty turned into pressure and friendship turned into fallout.
We was all friends at one point. There's video footage of all of us hanging out. Pac, Biggie, Puff, Suge, all of us together. Prior to Death Row, I never seen myself getting involved. Even when he played the video for me to Hit 'Em Up, even when he played Hit 'Em Up, the song, I didn't like the song.
Did you feel like it was
I didn't
too
like
much?
it.
Right.
I didn't like it.
Because according to Snoop, Tupac's energy, his decisions, and his words didn't just fuel the West Coast movement, they almost destroyed Snoop's career in the process. This ain't the story the industry loves to tell. It's not about thug life or two of America's most wanted. This is about what really happened after the cameras turned off, when fame, fear, and loyalty collided, and Snoop realized that sometimes even love can hurt your legacy.
Because my nigga didn't say nothing to me the whole ride. And that's a 5-hour flight on a private plane.
Yeah.
So I walk up to him like maybe 3 hours into the flight, sit next to him, I'm like, you going to Vegas, cuz? He turned on me like this, started talking to somebody else. So I'm like, all right. So I go in the back, put the blanket on my head, knife in my hand, fork in my hand.
They have their opinion. Even if he didn't like Hit 'Em Up back then, no problem, he have his opinion, but that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He was expressing his love for Hit 'Em Up. He was in the studio bopping his head. He was on the stage when Pac was performing it, singing the lyrics with him at the House of Blue. It's real strange that, you know what I mean? Like I said, I really think, you know, it's a lot of maybe some of the things that he couldn't tell Pac face to face.
Let's take it back. It's the mid-90s. Death Row Records is at its peak. The hottest label in the game, the West Coast crown jewel, Dr. Dre, Suge Knight, Snoop Dogg, and now Tupac Shakur. Every song they drop shakes the world. To the public, they look unstoppable. But behind the scenes, it's chaos. Snoop was already a superstar after Doggy Style. He was the cool, laid-back West Coast king, the smooth one, the one who made gangsta rap sound calm.
So normally I got 2 security with me that fly on a private plane. What is Suge got his homies, Pac got his security. We get to the private plane, nigga Suge like, they can't go.
Your security.
They can't go. Security like, all right, well come on with us, dog. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna stay down. I'm riding with them. Like this either the moment you gonna kill me, and we gonna get some clarity in this air. We got a 5.5-hour flight. I ain't got no security. You ain't feeling me right now. So I sit down, and I'm like, they still don't say nothing to me. Now we finna take off. I'm like, all right, I see what's finna happen. I've been around these, I know how they get down. I grab me a knife and a fork, get my blanket, 5.5 hours like this. Sit in the back of the plane, all the way in the back, I'm the last seat. So somebody gonna get killed. If I'm gonna get killed, somebody dying with me.
Then Pac came home from prison, fresh out, wild energy, all eyes on him. At first, it was love. Pac and Snoop clicked instantly. 2 legends, 2 icons, both representing the streets but in their own ways. When they recorded 2 of America's Most Wanted, it was magic. Real chemistry, real brotherhood. But that bond didn't stay solid for long. Because Pac wasn't just a rapper, he was a revolutionary with a short fuse. His energy was contagious, but also dangerous. Wherever he went, tension followed. And when you're on a label like Death Row, already under surveillance, already beefing with the East Coast, that kind of energy could make or break you. And for Snoop Dogg, it started to break him.
We was all friends at one point. There's video footage of all of us hanging out. Pac, Biggie, Puff, Suge, all of us together. Prior to Death Row, I never seen myself getting involved. Even when he played the video for me to Hit 'Em Up, even when he played Hit 'Em Up, the song, I didn't like the song.
Did you feel like it was
I didn't
too
like
much?
it.
Right.
I didn't like it. Like,
Snoop, what are you doing, Snoop?
I'm telling you the truth. Nas came over to Dad's house and got on the song first. Then Redman and Method Man got on that song. Then Tupac got out the pen and Daz gave it to Tupac and took Cuz verse off and left Method Man and Redman on it. Yeah, you heard it first, nigga. I didn't like the shit. Like, it wasn't like the shit to me. Like, it was buying more problems, cuz. Like, you're buying problems. Gangsters is everywhere. They make them everywhere. And I think when he got with us, he got to the mind state that we the motherfuckers. New York niggas that shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like, and I forgave them. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I like them niggas, I want to do some music with them. And that just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like, nigga, fuck them niggas. Them niggas tried to kill me. Niggas shot at you. And you talking about you want to do a song with them niggas? I wasn't thinking about his emotion. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked them niggas' music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. This video footage of all of us hanging out.
Snoop's told the story a few times, how the problem started around the time of the East Coast/West Coast War. See, Snoop never wanted that war. He respected New York. He loved the culture. He even said in interviews that he rocked with Biggie and Puffy, that he wanted peace. But Pac, he wasn't having that. To Pac, loyalty meant taking sides, his side. And when Snoop refused to ride the wave of hate, that's when the distance started. The label was split in two. You had Pac and Suge turning up the aggression, calling out the East Coast every chance they got. And then you had Snoop, the voice of calm, and saying, yo, we don't need to go there. We all black men, we all trying to win. But Pac saw that as betrayal. There's a moment Snoop's talked about in interviews when they were on a plane after the MTV Awards in 1996. That's the same trip where Pac went off about Biggie and Puffy on stage. Snoop got on the radio after and said he had love for Biggie and Puffy. When Pac heard that, everything changed. He stopped talking to Snoop. He ignored him on the plane ride back. Snoop said he felt it, that cold shoulder, that shift in the air. And just days later, Tupac was gone. Now imagine being Snoop in that moment. You lose your brother, but you never made peace with him. You're grieving, but at the same time, you're being blamed. The fans start whispering, Snoop flipped on Pac. Snoop wasn't loyal. Snoop's scared, and suddenly all that West Coast love starts fading. The media painted Snoop as the one who turned soft, the one who didn't ride for the team. Pac had become a martyr, a symbol. And in that light, Snoop looked like the man who didn't go all in. That's the pain Snoop still carries to this day, because while Pac's legacy went legendary, Snoop was left cleaning up the ashes. He had to rebuild his image, rebuild his career, and re-earn the people's respect. And he's admitted that whole situation, that energy around death row, it almost ended him. In one of his later interviews, Snoop said, Pac was my brother, but he was wild. He was on a different frequency. I couldn't match that. I'm from Long Beach. I moved different, but people didn't understand. They thought I was against him. Nah, I just didn't want to die behind no ego. That right there says everything. Snoop loved Pac. But Pac's energy, his anger, his willingness to die for his message, it put everyone around him in the line of fire. And while it made Pac immortal, it made life hell for Snoop. Everywhere Snoop went, he had to answer for death row drama. The police were watching him, the industry was watching him, and half the world thought he was disloyal for not backing Pac harder. Snoop said after Pac's death, he couldn't even move freely in LA for a while. People questioned his loyalty, his realness, his courage. And that's why he says Pac's legacy, as great as it is, hurt his career, because it made him a target in a war he never wanted to fight. See, that's the part fans forget. When you're friends with a legend like Tupac, you inherit everything, the glory, the love, and the hate. And for Snoop, that hate came heavy. The industry started changing, the spotlight shifted. While Pac became a martyr, Snoop became the man still alive, still blamed, still explaining. And for years, he carried that quietly. He didn't talk about it much. He didn't badmouth Pac. He just kept it real in interviews, saying he loved him, but also admitting that their relationship was complicated. But recently, when he said that Pac hurt his career, it wasn't coming from hate. It was coming from honesty. He said, when you tied to somebody that powerful, their actions reflect on you. And sometimes you don't realize the cost until it's too late. That's deep. Because it shows that fame doesn't just elevate, it exposes. It forces you to carry the weight of your friends, your label, your choices. And back then, that weight almost crushed Snoop Dogg. Let's not forget, right after Pac died, death row started falling apart. Dre was gone, Suge was locked up, Pac was gone, and Snoop was the last man standing. He had to escape the mess, reinvent himself, and rebuild his peace. That's when he left Death Row and went to No Limit under Master P. A lot of people laughed at that move at first, said Snoop was running, but in reality, it was survival. He said, I had to leave or I'd be dead too. And when he finally got distance, that's when the reflection began. That's when he realized how much Pac's world, the chaos, the energy, the nonstop war mentality had swallowed everything around it. And that's when the love started turning into pain, because love without closure always turns sour. Fans always romanticized Pac, and rightfully so. He was brilliant, passionate, fearless. But even Pac's closest friends admit he could be self-destructive. And when you mix genius with self-destruction, everybody near it gets burned. Snoop got burned, not physically, but emotionally, professionally, spiritually. He went from being the biggest star in hip-hop to being seen as the quiet one who didn't ride hard enough. And that image followed him for years. Every time Snoop tried to move on, people brought Pac's name up. Every time he did something positive, someone reminded him of the Death Row era. It's like he could never fully escape Pac's shadow, even when he was doing everything right. And here's the thing most people don't realize. When Snoop says, I despise what Pac did, he's not saying he hates Pac as a man. He's saying he hates how the situation turned out. He hates that their bond was twisted by the industry, by the media, by circumstances they couldn't control. He hates that instead of dying as brothers, they died divided. He hates that Pac's death turned into legend and his loyalty turned into question marks. That's the kind of pain you carry forever. Today, when Snoop talks about Pac, you can still hear the love in his voice, but you can also hear the sadness, the frustration. He once said, I was with him when he was still just Pac, not the myth. And that Pac was my brother. But that myth they built after he died, that's what hurt me, because nobody saw what it cost. And that's exactly what he means when he says Pac hurt his career. It wasn't just business, it was burden. Because while the world turned Tupac into a saint, it left Snoop to carry the guilt. But here's the twist. Snoop didn't let that break him. He learned from it. He evolved. He became the peacekeeper, the mentor, the OG who still spreads love instead of war. He took everything he learned from Pac, the good and the bad, and turned it into wisdom. He said, Pac taught me passion, but he also taught me patience. You gotta know when to fight and when to walk away. That's growth. So when you hear Snoop talk about Pac now, don't mistake it for hate. It's truth mixed with pain. It's love mixed with lessons. It's the voice of a man who's lived long enough to see what fame really costs. And in a way, that's what makes Snoop's story even more powerful. He survived what most people didn't. He outlived the beefs, the bullets, the backlash, and he's still standing, a wiser, calmer, more grounded. Because sometimes survival is the best revenge. And maybe that's the real message in all this, that love can still hurt, even between legends, that loyalty can come with scars, and that even icons like Snoop and Tupac weren't untouchable. They were just men caught in the storm of fame, ego, and history. So yeah, Snoop said Tupac hurt his career, but he also admitted Tupac helped shape his soul. And maybe that's the truth about greatness. It always comes with pain. Because when two giants walk the same path, one always ends up standing in the other's shadow. And for Snoop, that shadow was both a curse and a crown. If you made it this far, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Tupac really hurt Snoop's career? Or was it just the times, the label, and the chaos around them? Either way, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because here on Buzz and Drama, we don't just tell the stories, we uncover the scars behind them. See you on the next one.